Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. It is a toxically masculine Tuesday, and I'm your host, Mike Bara, in Las Vegas, Nevada, joined as I am on most Tuesdays by at least two members of the crew, and Dr. Brooks Agnew is not here tonight. Brooks, if you don't know, is in the hospital. He had some heart arrhythmia problems. He went through some tests today. Came through with flying colors. I believe they're going to do one more electrical type procedure on him, and then he should be good to go home, but he's not going to be with us tonight. So, Brooks, if you're watching, we love you. We want you to get well soon, and we know he's going to rock and roll. Also stepping in for Brooks tonight, Brian Engelman. We just got done doing strictly football today. That was loads of fun. Sorry about your Indians in baseball, but it's great to have you back with us. I think it's been a year. Has it been almost a year? Like it was election night, 2024. Was it not that long, stressful, horrible night where they just wouldn't call Trump the winner? And I wasn't going to stop until he was the winner. That was it, right? That was the last time.
Well, we did that, but I remember I was sitting in the car outside of a comedy club. I was going in on a Tuesday, and I remember I did the show from my Forerunner. So it was sometime this year, maybe March, April, May, something. But yeah, it's good to be back as always, and best wishes to our extra member. I can be a utility infielder when needed.
Yes, well, thank you for being here, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, welcome to Toxically Masculine Tuesday. And yeah, let's keep the prayers up for Brooks. He's big, he's strong, he's tough. I think he's going to be just fine. But anyway, all right, so let's get on with the show. Actually, what I want to do before we start the show is I do want to do a quick screen share, and I want to let you guys know that, okay, where is it? Yes, there is a special sale going on over at MikeBaraPets.com tonight only until midnight Pacific time, midnight Reno time. You can get in there if you order anything at MikeBaraPets.com, no matter what it is. You hit the shop now button, slide on in there. If you order anything tonight, you get entered into a raffle for a $60 gift card. So if you have any thoughts about getting some Mush Puppies or Mojos for your dog, or Sequoia premium cat food or special sauce for your cat, Mush Ponies for your horses, or anything for yourself, the Enforce line of products, by all means, get in there tonight before midnight, place an order, and you will be entered for a chance. Yes, we need to get. What's your kitty's name?
This is Nimbus. I was wondering, Nimbus the cat. Yeah, Cumulonimbus. What is the product for my cat? What's the one you recommend?
Well, I mean, there's multiple different things you can give the kitties, but I think the best.
He's got a hip thing, so he's on like an mRNA monthly injection that really helps him. I know mRNA is a dirty word, but it really helps him. But he's got some spinal hip.
I would get him on what I've got my kitties on is the Sequoia premium cat food. It's a turkey entree. They really like it. And then the special sauce mixed in with that. You put about a quarter worth on there, and it really, really does help quite a bit. So I would get her on those two. And like I said, any order today, you get entered for a $60 ticket, meaning you get $60 worth of free stuff, anybody who orders tonight. So thank you for that. All right. I'm joined, of course, as I frequently always am. I didn't really introduce anybody else, by our wonderful friend over there, Steve Doran, the trail boss. Steve, how are you doing tonight? What are you drinking? And what do you got to say for yourself?
I'm doing really well. I'm drinking hibiscus tea, which I'm starting to fall in love with. I used to hate it. Now I guess I'm getting used to it. But not a lot going on today. Just it's kind of a relaxing day. Usually it's, you're going like gangbusters trying to get stuff done, and really wasn't much to do today.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. And, of course, the fourth man to be introduced tonight, but not by any way, shape, or form the fourth member of the crew, TV's Blake Wally, owner of the fanciest strip club in Nashville, Tennessee, the Lickety Split. I visited the Lickety Split this weekend with Blake. Blake showed up on Saturday for the Nashville Alien Fest. Blake, you got an amazing club there. And I'm just kidding. But go ahead, Blake.
Well, this is just a karaoke lounge. So the strip club's in the back. So, this is just a part of it. This is a mega complex here. So
There is no strip club called the Lickety Split in Nashville, in case any of you are watching. There isn't. But maybe someday, if the RV ever happens, we'll be opening one up. Like, you can imagine.
For sure.
What do you think? Yeah, I had a blast in Nashville. Blake showed up, Tom Reed. We hung out with John Alien, who is a fantastic guitar player. This kid is 16 years old, and he's going to make his dad rich because he has talent. Like, I don't know what to say about it. Blake, am I crazy, or is that guy really super talented?
No, it was extremely impressive, and they kept saying he's only 16, so he's like he's a guitar virtuoso. So
yeah,
it's one thing when you can play covers, but when you do original music on top of that, that's
and he can sing, and he's got an incredible future. And we had a really good time. And let me just tell you, folks, you want to visit Nashville, the pub crawl is unparalleled, I think, anywhere in the world. We went to 6 or 8 bars in the space of a couple hours, karaoke bars, bars, live music everywhere, rock and roll.
Well, you can't have a bad time when you're with Shotgun Wally. That's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
You're protected and you're having a good time.
Well, it was an absolute.
Did any of you sing at the karaoke bars? And if so, what song did you sing?
No, I wasn't quite drunk enough, but I was getting ready to. I was absolutely getting ready to. All right, we're going to start the show. And yes, for those of you coming late, Brooks is in the hospital. He's had some procedures. He's having another one, I think, before he goes home. But it is serious, but not life-threatening. So send him your hopes and prayers and good thoughts, and everything will happen good for Brooks. The big issue, of course, that's still out there that we just can't get rid of is the murder of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, whose crime seems to be that he was very effective at turning hearts and minds away from Satan, which is quite a trick there, Charlie. It is also today the feast of St. Michael the Archangel. So to all of you out there who are Catholics, say the prayer tonight. I'm going to do it before bed, and take care of yourselves and everyone around you. But this thing just will not go away. And it shouldn't, Steve, because there's so many questions. You're the only certified police officer here really amongst us. I tried to get the mechanic to come on tonight, but he couldn't make it. So I want to show you guys a video to start with the conversation, and then we'll move on from that. But let's start with this other thing. Here's what I don't get. We know there's been an autopsy. There has to be in a homicide. There has to be an autopsy. There was an autopsy. We have received no details of that autopsy. We have received no ballistics information. Now, none of this stuff should affect a criminal case against the person who is accused of shooting him. We have received promises from Kash Patel of the FBI that everything, including the hand signals, is going to be investigated, but we have no investigation yet. So what I don't get is why 2 weeks later do we not have any update from the government?
It's all smoke and mirrors. I told you. All of this stuff is a distraction. Nothing has changed. We're still moving in the wrong direction as a country. As I posted about today on X, the teachers union is in bed with the WEF to establish a new curriculum to brainwash and destroy the minds of our young people. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Charlie Kirk. All of the stuff. I mean, this is, if that guy was actually the shooter, it should be an open and shut case. Boom. Here's all the evidence. Here's this, here's that. The ballistics match the rifle, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it should be a done deal. And here we're still, I'm going to be very crude, which I normally am not, but we're still monkey fucking around. Weeks later, they're playing a game. They're stalling. They don't want to give you any information. Again, chances of that guy being the shooter are 0. And right after, they didn't secure the crime scene. Right afterwards, the college started tearing up the area, removing dirt, removing evidence. And again, it's going to be just like the Trump shooter who was shot on the roof, or the suspected Trump shooter. It wasn't him either. But it's just going to go away, and all these questions will remain unanswered. And any questions that are answered will be a lie.
Okay. And I concur with that because, I mean, we have a situation with the Las Vegas shooter. We still don't have any details on that. We don't have any details on the Las Vegas alien.
And the fact that that old man could reload magazines, faster than any known person on the planet is absolutely unbelievable. And when people started putting those pieces together, again, the Las Vegas shooter went away. And then now we have this situation that occurred in Michigan. Again, it's a distraction for something else.
Okay.
But I will say that, I don't know. I'm going to hold off on my next comment because you might be getting into it later and I don't want to ruin it for you. So I'll hold off on that one.
Okay. All right. All right. That sounds fine. Blake, what are your thoughts on the state of the case so far and why do we know so little about it? What do you think?
Well, I guess I'm leaning toward it was an inside job and it was sloppy. I mean, I don't want to say it's sloppy. It probably didn't have that much planning and it's so hard to do something like that on the fly. And they think they can just control reality and make a great story that everybody wants to buy. And everybody, it certainly looked that way. It should be super easy, as I would agree with Steve. And they can't come up with one conclusive picture, video. They don't even know if he was there or the 30-06, like the bullet, like everything has been a lie. Now they won't give us the autopsy and they just want it to go away and for us to, stop asking questions and just, trust the FBI that they're going to, bring all the evidence at the trial. They're just waiting for it then and they don't want to, spoil anything. It's BS and it's falling apart and there's too many holes. I can't keep it.
Yeah, we're going to show you all the evidence at the trial 2 years from now when hopefully you've forgotten all about this whole fucking thing. That's what their plan is. There was an autopsy. That is not correct. The recording is unverified. There is no evidence that recording is a legitimate recording. Furthermore, it's simply a discussion between two people who may be talking about something in an entirely different context. For instance, it could mean there was no autopsy done at the hospital. The autopsy may have been done by the medical examiner, but there is by law required in the state of Utah an autopsy for any homicide. And also we have another report equally as valid as this one, Clara and Wayne, that an autopsy was done. Someone from the state of Utah did contact a mortician who has a YouTube channel and said, yes, an autopsy was done. The issue is not whether the autopsy was done or not. It appears it was. The question is, why the fuck don't we have any information about it? And Brian, I'm going to throw it to you. What are your thoughts on this? So don't let Steve influence you. Tell me what you really think, Brian.
As if I've ever held back. There's so much going on. I want to know what happened to the Dairy Queen. They emptied the Dairy Queen out and shut it down because there was allegedly footage of the alleged shooter in there, trying to figure out exactly at what time, because maybe that could have blown a hole through the whole concept of who they're pinning this on as a patsy, potentially. I've watched about 3 different videos. One shows a guy adjusting something at his shirt right when the pop goes off. Another looks up to the parking garage and it looks like there's somebody right there aiming. It's up at a teacher's level right when the shot goes off. It looks like there's somebody right behind him right when the shot goes off. The more we learn about this, the less it makes sense. So yeah, I mean, the stories are going around. There was no autopsy. Yes, there was an autopsy. No information. The whole story about I'm going to disassemble a rifle to jump off a roof, to assemble the rifle, then wrap it up and then leave it, and then fully lay out a text that incriminates myself. It just, nothing about this makes sense. Usually in an investigation, when you learn more information, it paints a really tight picture. It's almost concentric circles. It'll tighten up till you sort of get around the bullseye. This one is moving further and further and further and further outward. I mean, there are questions about Erica Kirk. There are questions about who could be behind it. It just, the more you listen, the more confusing this gets, Mike.
And it should be exactly the opposite, because we should be learning more and more information and getting a narrower and narrower and narrower picture of what happened. Am I wrong, Steve Doran?
No, I mean, based on the information that was presented, that this guy was the shooter,
Yeah.
It should be open and shut. They should have found a 30-06 round in the body. They should have been able to track the angle from where he shot from. They should have been able to match the bullet up to the rifle, on and on and on and on. I mean, it should be done by now, because based on the information that they're feeding us, it's an open and shut case. Any prosecutor in the world would love to have this case, and the fact that he would send all these detailed text messages to his father and that type of thing with all the information makes it so easy to move forward with an indictment and prosecution. It's unrealistic. It doesn't happen that way in real life. That's what makes this whole thing a book of fiction, because all of these things never, ever happen. And like I mentioned before, if he was really the shooter, he would have got some type of semi-automatic weapon of some sort, pistol or rifle, wore in a long jacket like they all do, and he would have rushed the stage and just started blasting away. He's not going to, take his grandfather's 30-06, get up on a roof, take the shot. And I don't care what any of these experts say. They say, oh, well, it's a real easy rifle to learn how to shoot. Well, let me tell you something. You take somebody like yourself who's a shooter, but isn't necessarily, doesn't shoot a lot and doesn't shoot rifles. I guarantee you cannot take a 30-06 rifle, shoot it 5 or 6 times, go out and consistently hit a palm-sized target at 200 yards. I know guys who have years of experience who can't do that. A lot depends on the wind, the type of ammunition you're using. There's all kinds of factors that come in. You can say, well, it was a lucky shot. Well, again, somebody who is unskilled isn't going to do something like that. And then they're not going to, like Brian said earlier, they're not going to disassemble the rifle, reassemble the rifle, and then go to Dairy Queen and have a cone and be as calm as you please. None of this stuff is realistic. It's all freaking fiction.
And I don't know if a 30-06 would necessarily take down a rhinoceros or not, but that is a massive round.
Well,
and the latest one was
that's another question: is would it have like torn his neck off?
Well, I mean, it would have the exit wound would have been extremely substantial. But then, there again, we get into that's probably why the guy wasn't a shooter. Did they use a rifle with a handgun cartridge? Was it suppressed? Did they match the round to the rifle? I mean, there's all these things that could have happened that would make it work and make it not overpenetrate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where if it was just a standard 30-06 round, fired from 200 yards, the exit wound would be substantial. I mean, I've shot lots of stuff, and the entrance wound would be, looks legit, but it would be the same thing if they used a handgun cartridge out of a rifle. The entrance wound would have looked the same, but the exit wound would have been just massive.
And if it was at long distance, like, let's not assume that he was aiming right for the jugular. I mean, it could have been a foot off, aiming right here, and it just, ended up.
I know, but it doesn't. The whole point is that, his neck snapped. When you watch the footage, he's hit. You can see that bullet ender. He's hit, and he's dead before he hits the ground. His neck completely snapped. So if it was a 30-06, his neck typically, now bullets do weird things, and they really do. I mean, bullets do bizarre things when they hit people.
Pinball.
But typically, it would have blown the back of his neck completely apart. There would have been a hole the size of my fist.
Okay, now I'm gonna fuck with you. So I have something else to show, and I want you to watch this portion of the video. I think it's 3 or 4 minutes long. It was actually done. It was actually done on a video that was done the day after the assassination on 9/11. It is from a site called Paramount Tactical. I want you to watch this, and I want to get everybody's thoughts on this from here.
I want you to look at this outline. Without a doubt, he is wearing body armor. Now, there's lots of different types of body armor out there. There's some of the more advanced stuff is like this composite body armor. This stuff is very effective. It's super lightweight. And what's great about this type of body armor is that when rounds hit it, even at high angles, and I've tested this stuff, but even when rounds hit this type of body armor at acute angles, this type of body armor does a really good job of absorbing the projectile, stopping obviously penetration, but it also prevents fragmentation and deflection and ricochets as well. This is a really good body armor. The problem with this body armor, as you guys can see, even there's some newer stuff out there that's slightly thinner, that's more advanced, but it's still pretty thick. When you're trying to wear body armor and keep the lowest profile and not even be able to see that body armor, especially under something like a t-shirt, most people are going to go with some sort of metallic body armor. This is a titanium-based alloy. It is fairly lightweight, but most importantly, what you guys can see is that it's extremely thin. This type of body armor is very easy to conceal, even under something like a t-shirt. And I think this is very, very similar to what Charlie Kirk is actually probably wearing right now.
Sure looks like
I
it.
want you to notice
You
about
can
this body
see
armor
it.
have some really nice contours with this all the way around. And there's some benefits with that when it comes to concealment, right? We can keep this body armor under a shirt like this. It minimizes its profile additionally on top of being much thinner. The disadvantages of metallic body armor like this is you guys can see that if I do take a round, and especially it hits this contoured area, it can and does deflect up toward the wearer. Now, this particular plate I have in vests over there, and with that system, I actually have a whole nother layer of ballistic protection, some Kevlar that actually protects me from fragmentation from the body armor itself. So I want you to notice here, right here at the top, not only do we have this contoured area, but at the very edge of this, we actually have bevels all the way around that make it less likely to snag, cut, or anything like that, and the edges are pretty smoothed over. So it's much more comfortable. So this stuff is very effective in low profile situations to stopping direct impacts. You can still get injured and possibly even killed from fragmentation of metallic body armor. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of it. And if you are going to wear this, I can tell you that this is designed to have additional protection in and around it that's going to prevent injury from that fragmentation and or death. But I want us to see what's going on in this particular instance with Charlie Kirk. So number one, we can definitely see that there is body armor there. And then I want us to move forward. I'm going to zoom in as tightly as possible just to, again, try to keep this as clean as possible. So right here, we have the first frame in this particular video, and I don't know what frame rate this video was shot in. It was slowed down. This is the first sign of impact. I want you to notice with this shirt, we actually have the shirt, it is violently disturbed, but this shirt collar is moved all the way up to his ear. When I first saw this video, what it looked like to me is that Charlie Kirk was shot in the left side, and it looked like a direct hit into the left side of his neck. And I was also looking for an exit wound. But that doesn't explain why the shirt was moved the way that it was. As we move forward a little bit, I want you to see, folks, right here. I want you to notice that there is a spot on the shirt. And that spot on the shirt also correlates with the very top edge of this body armor. And you can also see the first appearance of an entrance wound. And that's really weird too. So when we see an entrance wound from a firearm, especially on the skin and something in an area that's soft tissue like the neck, we normally don't see such a large hole there with the entrance wound. We just don't. When skin is pierced, whether it's a projectile or anything else, that stuff stretches out of the way, then it closes back in on itself. I've talked about this many times with 5.56 and even 9mm wounds, and I have seen 30 cal wounds and even larger wounds. A lot of times with these smaller caliber wounds, even up to 30 cal, it's hard to see a entrance wound at all, especially with 5.56, 9mm. A lot of times you got to stretch the skin. There's techniques that we use when we're assessing casualties where we stretch the skin apart and we're looking for those less than obvious wound channels with an entrance wound. Here we see a fairly massive wound. What is very clear to me is that we had a round that impacted the upper edge of his body armor, and then that round deflected directly upward. So now what we're dealing with is not only a deformed projectile, but it's also now moving upward, which would make the wound larger, both because of its deformation and now its angle of entry. Yeah. And it's also probably fragmented as well. And that also makes a lot of sense to me because there is a side view of this footage. Originally I thought that round went directly into his neck and we would see some sort of exit wound on the back. I never saw that exit wound. And I think it's because basically we had that round hit deflect directly upward and up into his cranial cavity. And I'm fairly certain that that projectile is still inside of his body. I also just watching this and his reaction and the way that he seized. And I know there was a lot of blood and things after this. I think Charlie was dead the moment right at impact. I don't think he even knew it hit him. Regardless of all the blood loss, all of those things. And I know later on there was reports that, you know, he was in critical condition, that there was a pulse, and they may have gotten him to a hospital. They may have hooked him up to some machines on life support, and they may have had a mechanical pulse. That doesn't mean that he was alive, but I think he was dead immediately. And I think that, you know, as sad as this whole event is, to me, that brings a little bit of solace to me, because the last thing I would want for this guy that I feel like, you know, I feel like I'm friends with, even though I've never met him, you know, he wasn't suffering and he wasn't having to sit there and all these things go through his mind about his family and all of these things. So now it's about 12:45 Eastern time, September 11th.
Okay. I thought that was very detailed, very interesting. And Steve, I got to tell you, I find it also very convincing. It looks to me like there is body armor there. If it deflects and then hits him in the neck, this side, it's going to go in a little bit more sideways. And also there's another video. They keep saying he got shot in the back of the head. There is something black that comes out, which could be skin or hair. Is it possible that a little plug of flesh or something did pop out of the back of his head? Because it's pretty obvious in some of the videos that happened too. What do you think about that analysis? You kind of...
Well, I mean, if the round blew through the back of his head, there'd be nothing to find. When they went in on the autopsy, there would be no round to find if it went out. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is, wouldn't it hitting the metal slow the velocity, deform the bullet, make it slightly sideways, enter at more of an angle, and reduce the velocity enough that it might hit the skull and just punch a little plug out of the skull, which is what we could have seen in the other video.
Yeah,
And
like I said, bullets do very strange things once they enter the human body. So you cannot be, you know, even like him saying that, you can't see the entrance wound. That's total bullshit. You know, there are times where you can't see an entrance wound, depending on the angle hit, round used, distance, blah, 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 blah. But most of the time, 99% of the time, when you come on a shooting victim, you know exactly where the bullet went in. And typically there's an exit wound. Now, is he wrong that it hit the bulletproof vest first? Not necessarily. Again, there's a lot of factors that go into this, and you can't, not being there, not looking at the evidence directly, you cannot make a educated, I mean, you're just guessing. He's guessing like everybody else is guessing of what happened when, you know, the bullet hit or how it hit and where it went from the vest into the neck. So it's a very difficult thing unless somebody shot at point blank range, typically with a handgun or rifle, shotgun, something like that. Anything that's shot at distance, that bullet can do a million different things before it stops in the human body. It's amazing what they can do.
yeah. Blake, what do you think about that video? Did it impress you, or what's your response? Because I mean, everything the guy says seems plausible, and in looking at the video outline, it sure looks exactly like pretty much one of those metal plates that he was mentioning earlier, to me anyway.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't have any expertise to, you know, suggest to confirm or, you know, to debunk what he's saying. The only thing that is, I know that was an earlier video, because I think you just said that it was from September 11th. And I thought after the fact that some people on his team were even said that he wasn't wearing armor. He could be. I was, until you just played that video, I was under the assumption that he did not wear armor. But if he is, then that you could still make the case that the shooter came from the front. Because without that, then I would have to assume it's either from the back or it's from the, you know.
See, that's the other thing, though. If he was wearing a vest, he got hit in the vest, it ricocheted off the vest. What's the big deal? Why didn't the they released that to the public. You know, he's wearing a vest. He was shot in the upper chest due to the angle of the particular type of armor he's wearing. It deflected off. I mean, it's no big deal. It's not like it's a national secret or that they can't move forward with the prosecution releasing that information. That's what I'm saying. All of this stuff is just ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason not to release something like that. It doesn't harm their case in the least.
Yeah. So this begs the question. I mean, I'm going to say I find that video convincing. I find Steve's information convincing. It's clear to me he was wearing body armor. It's probably 80% that it did hit the body armor and deflected off into his neck, and that accounts for a lot of the things we see. But Brian, why the fuck haven't they told us that? And you see stuff like Candace Owens blaming the Jews and all this other stuff. Are they keeping silent and not filling this in because they're setting certain people up to be taken down to look like fools over this? Is there some other political agenda we haven't thought about yet?
Oh, absolutely. There's the potential for that. I saw a super convincing video where it looked like there was a lapel mic that shot off when somebody in the crowd went like this and adjusted something clearly right when the pop went off. And it showed some sort of thermal imaging where all the energy came from here, which is right where this alleged mic was. And some of the people in comments are asking about that. The clip mic being the same armed service device used by Afghanistan CIA. Look, every video I've watched, whether it's from the upper level of the parking garage where there's the teachers and it looks like somebody's standing by a planter, that looks convincing. The guy in the white shirt with the hand signals looks convincing. The guy holding like this and he jumps like that right when the pop goes off looks convincing. The guy in the front row that adjusts something, pop, almost like he literally triggers it. Almost all of these look convincing. I will say about this video, I didn't watch this analysis and I'm glad you played it. When I was doing the TNAM Daily Show live when this happened, we were wrapping up a show. I was getting ready to end. And in the comments, someone's like, hey, Charlie just got shot. I go, all right, what's going on? We pulled up the first video. I saw kind of at mid-range, and what it looked like to me was that he got hit in the chest. And I said, oh, well, maybe he was wearing the body armor. It looked like it popped right off of here. My first instinct, the first video I watched, to me, it looked like it hit off of here. And then there was the neck issue. I go, well, hopefully he was wearing body armor and it bounced off of that. And maybe he'll be okay. Maybe it didn't go. Obviously, if it went through the carotid artery or the jugular rather, he had no chance there. But are there additional theories on this? Are there other concepts that we haven't considered? Of course there are. And Donald Rumsfeld had a famous quote. He said, there are known unknowns and there are unknown unknowns. In the Iraq War in the early 2000s. There's a ton to this story that doesn't make sense. So I don't know if it's this group, that group, inside job, if it was faked or staged. That's the other one. Oh, no, there was an autopsy, but there's no results because he didn't really die. Oh, no, there was no blood. I'm telling you, the more I hear about people investigating this, the stupider the claims are and the more confused I get. I'm getting stupider considering all these different theories. I'm starting to disbelieve my own eyes at this point.
Yeah, and again, my friend the mechanic was there on the scene within 3 hours and said that they took everything down. They scuttled the entire crime scene within a couple 3 hours, which makes you think somebody was in on it. And Christine, again, everyone in the audience had their phones recording. Don't you think maybe one or two caught what really happened? That's the problem. There's about 4 or 5 different things, Steve, that look like they could have really happened. And it gets even weirder. Let's watch another video here before we move on. I guess we're going to do 1 or 2 other issues.
And they totally rebuilt the crime scene. They totally ripped everything out and redid it super quick.
And my friend was there and saw the whole thing. He was called in to investigate. Let's watch this video. I think this is Stu Peters, who I think has kind of got his head up his ass, but let's just watch it.
I think this is the one I was referencing, yeah.
Okay.
I just saw this today or yesterday for the first time.
Awesome. Let's go. Keep going. Yeah. I was just
as the trigger man is seen activating a remote detonator perfectly synchronized with the explosion.
counting game violation.
literally at the exact same time as the gunshot noise. So this pretty much convinced me that this theory is quite compelling and needs to be seriously investigated.
Gang violence.
I don't know. Looks to me like he's adjusting his
Some
shirt.
Mormons have more kids than they can afford.
Here you have the shooter signaling to someone else saying, 5 minutes until the shot. And look carefully who is watching the signal. Watch again.
And I think it's time for Mormons.
Here the man in the blue shirt turns on his video glasses. I only know this because I have the same glasses.
Stuff.
A minute later, he signals 4-minute mark.
This country.
Here he looks over to see if Tyler Robinson is on the roof in position, then fixes the detonator on his left shoulder bicep. Look carefully at the bulge on his shoulder.
That's a strange.
I love how polite you are. I have my team is Mormon. Terrell's a Mormon. Andrew's a Mormon. Mormon's a great. So everything I say, everybody, I'm an evangelical Christian.
The assassin now points his watch outwards and tells everyone to watch the time. Then a few minutes later, we know what happened.
Okay. The only thing I have to say about this is that all of those things, I don't know that this guy was the assassin. It does look like he had something under his shirt. It looked to me like he was adjusting his shirt and was kind of surprised when the shot happened, to be honest with you. But all these guys signaling that guy in the glasses, those are Meta sunglasses that do record. They take pictures and they record video. He does activate them. There's video later. We can watch this all night of him re-deactivating. And you see all these guys, all of his security detail, passing stuff around between them. What the fuck is going on? It seems to me, Steve, my impression is the guy on the roof was the main shooter, and if he screwed up, they had about 5 backup plans to make sure they killed him. That's what I'm thinking when I see this. Am I wrong or what?
Well, like I said from the beginning, this whole thing was rehearsed. They had more than one person involved in it. They had a whole team that came in to make sure that Charlie didn't survive. Even if he had survived the shot, I guarantee you that while he was in the vehicle on his way to the hospital, something would have happened that would have taken his life. The thing that really bothers me is why he was a target. I know people say, oh, well, he was, spreading the love of Christ and blah, 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 blah. But the reality is, I mean, there are a lot more people that are more valuable dead than alive than Charlie Kirk. So the fact that they went to such, they went to such extremes to kill the guy, I wonder what else is going on. There's way more to this story than just a guy who goes on college campuses and talks to kids. There's way more to this.
Does this, Blake, do you think that this indicates that there is, in fact, a war for the United States or for the world going on behind the scenes between good guys and bad guys? And, if so, why aren't the good guys doing more? What do you think's going on here?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I guess my conclusion so far, which is going to change, I'm open about it. I'm not trying to be biased, but it does appear to me to be an inside job. But some of this depends on what can we prove. And one of the rumors is that, he was under a tremendous amount of pressure from his donors, specifically some of the Israel, the pro-Israel donors. And there's a lot of accusations going on. There's a lot of speculation that there was this meetup at the Hamptons with a lot of these donors, and they wanted influence on Charlie and his organizations. It's extremely important to them to be able to, control their narrative, the way people perceive Israel. And, they have had a PR disaster over the last several months for, alleged genocide or war crimes or what have you. And according to many people that were close to him, he was, having trouble with the messaging and being loyal to his donors. I guess one of his major donors pulled the plug. And there's also rumors that Bibi specifically offered him $150 million. I can't confirm that, but many people have speculated that. That's how important he was to that narrative, because they were losing the PR narrative. So would they kill him to keep him in line? Maybe. And if that is true, if they did offer him $150 million and he refused it, that would make him a liability, and they could conceivably kill him, but not saying they did it.
Well,
I don't think Tyler Robinson did it.
Here's the thing. We don't even know what the fuck happened yet. We can't even get into motive, means, and opportunity and who was behind this, because we don't even know what the fuck happened, exactly how he was hit, with what kind of bullet, from what angle, we don't know any of that shit because they're not telling us anything, Brian. So what needs to happen to shift this narrative? I mean, I guess we have to start bombarding Pam Bondi or Kash Patel or one of these other useless fucks that's supposed to be running our government, or what?
That part, Mike. We're relying on Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, the same people who could barely indict the obviously indictable James Comey. Where's Clapper? Where's Brennan? Where's Hillary? Where's Obama? Where's the whole cabal of people who have been overthrowing this country for decades, if not way longer than that? I mean, going into this administration, a lot of us were sort of excited, sort of hopeful about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Now, Epstein list. What did Kash Patel do? He's like, now look, I'm not going to release any footage that's going to bother. Look, I'm not gonna re-abuse these women with the footage. And by the way, there's no footage. Like, we are being gaslit at a level that's unfathomable. At the same time, while they're ramming as fast as they can, the Palantir, the digital ID, all of this stuff. And yeah, is this a distraction? What is the end goal? What was the purpose? There are more questions than answers, and it's frustrating because we've never had a theoretical better opportunity to put our country back on track. And in many regards, the Trump administration has fixed glaring problems, from the border to basic common sense across our country, with a lot of social issues mainly. But on some of these big picture issues, if we're relying on Kash Patel and Pam Bondi,
we're fucked.
I can't hold my breath on that.
Yeah, let me just clarify it for you. We're fucked if we're relying on them. Steve, anything else you want to add to any of the comments that we just had?
No, not really. I mean, it's very difficult. Just like I said, everybody's guessing. Unless you were there at the crime scene, unless you were there and actually involved on the ground while the shooting occurred, it's very difficult to come to any kind of a conclusion. We know that videotapes are manipulated. We know that, everybody wants to prove their point, so they come to a conclusion and try to make the evidence fit. And it's a very difficult situation because the government's not being honest with us. Nobody's giving us the information that we need to make an educated decision. So we're all just guessing. And, hopefully somehow, some way, something will come out. There'll be a Zapruder film that nobody's aware of, and it'll get broadcast everywhere, and it'll give us some more answers.
Yeah.
Someone could be sitting on unseen footage. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Where are the eyewitnesses? There's a couple thousand people there. I haven't seen shit from anybody who has said, yeah, I was standing there, I was looking right at him. The shot came from over my left shoulder. I mean, there's none of that either. So what the fuck?
Because they cleared everybody out and destroyed the crime scene. They didn't hold everybody there. They didn't secure it. They didn't take witness statements. They just, boom, cleared it out, destroyed it, made sure that the minimal amount of evidence remained for the American people to review. I mean, it's crazy. They should have, like I said, they should have secured the scene. That was the first thing they should have done. Taken witness statements, taken everybody's name who was there. I guarantee you, they don't even know who was even there. other than a few key players.
Yep. And it just continues to stink to high heaven, and we are not going to let up on it. And literally, we could do another hour and a half tonight just on different videos of the shooting.
Well, like I said, I think it's more of a distraction. It's another distraction to keep you from looking at what is really going on.
And Steve, there are legitimate conversations now that there was no blood and there was a trapdoor underneath. And I'm going, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I got to step away from this. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm not a fan of any of it.
Or people, or he was shot with a cell phone. That's another one that I like a lot.
Why bother to do the entire thing? And
that it was all faked, Blake. You're saying that it was all faked. That's the other.
No, some people are. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How do you make that jump? Great.
All right. There's two other issues I want to get to tonight. And we're not dropping this. We're going to be back here in a week. And, well, I may not be. I'll probably be in New York. I may not be able to do the show, but we're going to try. And we're going to be talking about this again. We're not going to let up on this, and we're going to continue. We want to hold the feet of the Trump administration to the fire. But I do want to share this other thing that's going on. There's two other things going on in the news that I want to get into.
Mike, before you move to it, one more crazy thing Thomas just said in the comments. And then there's that one kid that was trying to give the interview, and he was pulled away by everybody else, and they started arguing and fighting.
Right.
What was that about?
I
don't know. Sorry.
They don't want anyone to challenge any narrative. They don't want different stories. They wanted to control the outcome. I think it was definitely inside job. And then when they're getting rid of the crime scene, to me, this was all planned. They knew it. And
audio recordings too. If it hit a metallic plate and deflected, which I'm now 80%, this guy's probably got it figured out. That's what happened. It deflected. You would have heard a metal clang unless it was carbon fiber. But again, we don't even fucking know because they won't even admit that he was wearing anything because they haven't told us anything in 2.5 fucking weeks. 3 weeks almost now. So what the fuck? Okay. There is something else going on in the news. The government shutdown the government's going to be shut down in, I don't know, about, it should be shut down in about 3 hours or so, 2.5 hours. The question I have for everybody here is, do any of you give a fuck? Brian? Blake? Steve?
No.
Do you give a fuck if the government shuts down?
No.
It's beyond bloated. Some of trimming the fat is necessary. And Trump's like, look, we're putting out the proposal. These guys are trying to grab whatever the number is, 500 billion or $500 billion, $1.5 trillion. All the numbers are floating around. Who knows what they're actually saying. But if the argument is that Democrats want to take $1 trillion to give to illegal aliens, steal from the American citizens, good luck, Democrats, because the Republicans have a plan. It's like, here's the budget, let's go. And Democrat, no, I refuse. We will do this and that. Like, have fun with that. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out for you.
It is amusing to me that the Democrats actually seem to think that Trump is afraid to shut the government down. I think he's licking his chops he's sitting there 2 hours from now about ready to issue about 80 executive orders telling people at all these agencies, never come to work again. Your position is permanently done.
Doge on steroids. He's going to get the automatic cut that he couldn't get before. They're all suing. No, you can't fire government employees. They're going to quit themselves. It's going to be shut down. They're just not going to bring them back. That's my hunch. But let's see if the Democrats cave. I think they'd be smart to cave, but that means they won't because the Democrats.
I don't think they're going to. I think it's too late for them to cave at this point. So, I mean, Blake, do you think that 85 or 90% of the people in the United States will even notice that the government is shut down?
Yeah, your everyday people probably have no idea, aren't paying any attention whatsoever, and would not know unless they went to, I don't know, post. I don't know what's going to be open, but unless they went to a place where the should be open, but the government closed down, that's when they'll finally realize, hey, why is this place closed? They went to the national park, but I don't know. That should be a fun awakening, and we'll save a lot of money in the process. So I'm all for it. So let's do it. Yeah.
Steve, do you give a fuck that the government is about to shut down in 2 hours, or are you really looking forward to it? Because I'm thinking we're going to discover just how little of the government that we actually need as Americans to get by.
I agree. I mean, I really don't care. I hope it does shut down so that people can see what a waste most government agencies are. It'll interfere with the mail. It'll definitely interfere with people getting their welfare checks and that type of thing, which again, almost convinces me that the Democrats will cave because, their constituents not getting their free money is going to be another huge black eye and another nail in their coffin. So I believe that they're going to cave. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about this is that they'll just be able to just write off entire agencies to say, bye-bye, don't come back. Thanks. And did you hear that there were 100,000 employees of the federal government threatened and supposedly today resigned from their positions? If I'm Trump, I'm like, bye-bye. Thanks for all the savings. You're done. Yeah, bye-bye.
7-Eleven, the only thing that'll affect is like 7-Eleven, Circle K, those types of operations. You won't be able to get a job there because that's where all the federal employees are going to go because they're not qualified to do anything else.
Okay.
So if your kid's looking for a job at Circle K, he's probably not going to get it. It'll be filled by a former federal employee.
And by the way, for reference, I'm looking on Grok. They're saying shutdowns occurred 21 times since 1977. It's not like this is a completely unheard of thing. But I mean, the Democrats have no leverage. Like in Seinfeld, you have no hand. I have no hand, Jerry. Like
I
to negotiate with.
I think Trump just doesn't agree to anything for like a month or 2 months or 3 months, and just huge chunks of the government just cease to exist. They just stop. They just go away. And so what motivation does he have to go to the table with them? I just don't think he does. So one other thing happened this week that is sort of out in the weirdness zone. On his Truth Social over the weekend, Donald Trump posted the following video for 12 hours. And it's fucking weird. It's just weird. I'm going to play it for you and just watch and listen. And then I want to get everybody's comments on it.
Trump has announced a historic new healthcare system, the launch of America's first medbed hospitals and a national medbed card for every citizen.
Every American will soon receive their own medbed card. With it, you'll have guaranteed access to our new hospitals led by the top doctors in the nation, equipped with the most advanced technology in the world. These facilities are safe, modern, and designed to restore every citizen to full health and strength. This is the beginning of a new era in American healthcare.
In this first phase, only a limited number of medbed cards will be released. Registration details will be announced very soon. Trump has announced.
That's an actual video. That actually appeared on Donald Trump's Truth Social for 12 hours over the weekend. Now, the whole thing, if you don't know what a medbed is, it is supposedly a very advanced healing technology. The rumor is aliens gave it to us. It will only heal people that are of a high vibrational nature, meaning good people. Bad people can't use them. This technology's been around supposedly since the 1950s. They've been rumored forever. And it's been rumored to be something that is part and parcel to the financial reset that a lot of us have been expecting for 15 years now. So it is said that Donald Trump had to make a public announcement about this new technology. Wouldn't this effectively be such an announcement? And I mean, yeah, the video is AI. The video is totally AI. But isn't he fulfilling his legal obligations, if he has them, to announce the medbeds by putting that on his Truth Social for 12 hours and then taking it down without, by the way, a fucking word about it since then? Blake, does this weird you out, or does it seem like a good thing?
No, it's pretty cool. I think I had heard about it. I almost didn't believe it, and I hadn't seen it until just now. So that is wild, and it's an AI video. So I don't know if he that's intentional or not. And it is weird that nobody said anything, because you would think it'd be like all over the Daily Beast or something like that. Oh my God, what is this? It usually gives something for them to talk about. But there could absolutely be something to that. And I know the economy is obviously in a lot of problems, and silver is exploding and everything. So there is, it's plausible that there could be a financial reset. I would love to see this new great futuristic golden age where they can provide this technology and change everything around and bring us into the intergalactic community. I have no idea, like this beautiful future, but
okay, now you went off the fucking deep end there, Blake. Okay, intergalactic community. Fuck you. What are you, crazy? Some crazy alien guy?
No, I wouldn't like it. Probably.
Yeah, Blake got kicked off the show just now. Brian, this was on the President's Truth Social. It was intentional. I have no doubt of that. It was left up for, I think, virtually exactly 12 hours. So there must have been some law somewhere that he agreed to that said you have to do a 12-hour announcement about Medbeds or something. But holy fuck, it is real. It's not fake. It was posted by the president on his personal media. What do you think the bigger implications of that are?
Well, Mike, I'm sure that you've heard about how some people will take over Twitter accounts and they'll say it's a takeover for the weekend. I took over with the Maha agenda, and I said, Mr. Trump, I'd like to do a soft release of this. And I thought it would be a really good time to let people know that this stuff has been happening since Roswell, but only the super rich have been able to have it so far. The president was maybe a little not thrilled with me, the fact that I let this cat out of the bag like this cat here. But I think it's time for disclosure with more medical advances.
Thank you for that great Robert F. Kennedy Jr. impersonation. That was perfect. That was good. Thank you, Laura, for the super chat. By the way, nothing killing you guys. You can super chat to keep this show going. Steve, this is not a coincidence. I'm just going to tell you, this is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. His account was not hacked. The president did this deliberately. And I do believe it means this technology is going to be released soon. Do you have any optimism about that? What do you think? What does it say to you about what's going on?
I don't believe it was an accident. I mean, you've got a private account, the president's private account, and you have information being broadcast for 12 hours on his private account. It's not coincidence. It wasn't an accident. And I, for one, with the situation that I've been in for the last few years, would love to be able to go sit in a med bed and be fixed in 10, 15 minutes, whatever, however they work. I'm not sure they work. But, again, is it another distraction? Probably. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that's going on now is just, it's smoke and mirrors. Even, one of the things, and I've said this a million times, I'm getting off the med bed thing for a minute, but I've said this a million times. I do not like the fact that they're using military troops to enforce civil law. We have enough federal law enforcement out there that can be teamed up, put together to take care of these issues that they're sending the military in for. They're trying to lull people into a false sense of security. They're trying to get people to look at that as normal, that where they see military troops on the street enforcing laws and things like that. And like I said, in my opinion, we are still headed down a path that we're not going to be able to recover from, and it won't be long. And they're going to try to enslave the American population one way or the other. All of these things just point to the fact that they're still moving forward with the one world order. They're still moving forward with taking the American people captive, because without us being involved in their plan or being used in their plan, there's no way for them to be successful. They have to dominate the American people. And every day I see things that show us that that's where we're headed.
Yeah. So you're more pessimistic than a lot of us are.
I'm totally pessimistic because it's like, why would you want to cure people like me who won't keep their mouths shut and other patriots? Why would you want to cure us? I mean, let us die, because the best thing that can happen is to shut us up, whether it's by natural causes or some other way. And so, and also, it's like, if they had this technology, if it was readily available, there are a lot of very famous people who would have the means, the connections, and the money to use it, and they still die anyway. So,
but if it's true, if this part of the mythology is true, that if you're a negative entity, if you're a bad person, if you're fucking evil like Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton or Tom Hanks, the technology doesn't work on you. If that's true, then all they can do is all of the stuff they've been doing, which is organ transplants and blood transfusions and, you know, all the demonic shit.
If they got a med bed, I'd be the first one in line to use it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you know, I hope you're wrong about the pessimistic part of it, but are we all in agreement that this was real and it means something? We just don't know what it means yet. Do we agree on that, at least the four of us? Brian?
Maybe leaning that way. It's so hard for me to take strong stances on half of these stories.
Yeah.
But this played for 12 hours in a row. That's the story.
Yeah. And then was replaced by a video about cannabinoids.
Yeah.
And CBD. And that's still up there. So yeah, it's like,
and Trump has not really been into that whole thing. Like, that's not really, like, if other people came out with something like that, you'd expect it. But
I don't think he's got a Trump CBD product line. No, but yeah.
No, not just that. Just like, I don't know that he's really cared much about the topic. He's a teetotaler himself. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. It's very interesting. It is jarring. And in the comments, you just put something else up there with the 800 generals. With it was at Quantico with Hegseth.
Yeah,
today,
and
with the Department of War
and the president. And we just didn't have time, guys. Pete Hegseth gave a fantastic 45-minute speech.
Yeah.
It was practically like listening to the opening of the movie Patton.
Yeah,
it was amazing. He basically said, no more fucking dudes in dresses, no more DEI. If a woman can't meet the standards that have been set, we're going back to all the previously old standards. We're going back to beating the shit out of you in boot camp. We're going back to turning you into a killing machine. You don't like it, don't join the army. Basically said, you know, we're going back to the Steve Doran days.
What if it is all connected? Let's put these stories together as we kind of reach this point. What if the med beds in this information, only the penitent man shall pass? That was from Indiana Jones. It was like, if you drink from the cup, but you're unworthy, you're going to melt.
I think it was in the Bible first, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, somebody paraphrased it from somebody. But what if that is happening? And Steve, to your point about having the military, posse comitatus, we don't want them patrolling the streets. The Summer of Love in 2020, the Democrat deep state burned this country down for political gain. And what if they're getting the 800 generals ready? They're doing the slow release, the drop of, we're about ready to change this whole experience on Earth, but we need to have people pre-positioned in these big cities to quell the riots that will obviously come when we do the mass arrests. Now, I don't want to hold my breath and trust the plan, and you know, there's gonna be 10 days of darkness. I've been hearing this forever. But what if? But what if? What if there's something to it? Because what if Hegseth goes out there and gives us the patent speech? Then they shut off the cameras, they pull everybody into the back room, and they have the real speech and go, guys, are we ready? Here's the plan. Here's what's going on. 0800 hours. Give them the time and say it's going down.
And I will add one thing to this, which is just pure rumor. Okay, but I have a friend who has a friend, and her friend is married to a military intelligence type, a translator. They were called in on Friday. They were told as part of an intelligence like Zoom meeting, which of course is not going to be 100% secure, but they were told two things. They were told the revaluation of the currencies is happening this week. This week that we're in is supposed to be happening. And the med beds are going to be part of it, and they're going to be setting at the appointment. So they were told that this last week. What the fuck? Steve, it's like, to me, it feels like we're about ready for something big to happen one way or another. I don't know if it'll be a good thing or a bad thing, but
well, I hate to be the pessimist, but I'm not looking for anything good to happen.
Yeah.
That's why I keep telling people, like, you need to prepare yourself. You need to, make sure that you and your family are taken care of, because if you're expecting the U.S. government to care for you in any way, shape, or form, you can forget it.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. So
you've had a lot of
take care of you and yours, and make sure that you have the things that you need to get through the bumps that are about to happen. And again, I mean, there's so many different ways they can play this off. We know that hundreds, if not thousands, of terrorists crossed the border when Biden had the border open. They could be expecting, mass casualties from dirty bombs and terrorist attacks around the larger cities.
Yeah.
And they want the military to be poised to go in and maintain order and get things back in check in that particular area where the terrorists strike. And the other thing is, the sad part is we won't even know, based on the bullshit that we're seeing in the U.S. government and all the information that's coming out, if it's really international terrorism, or is it the U.S. government causing these things to happen? I mean, that's the thing. We can't trust anything that they say. And it's like, we're the federal government. We're here to help. We're going to maintain order. We're going to bring things back to the status quo. And the whole time they're using it to, disarm the population or to control a population in a particular area.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, again, people are like going to be begging for it. Oh, just stop the pandemonium, stop the crime, stop this, stop that. We're willing to let troops come in and do all this if you just make the place safe again. And that's a horrible attitude to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once you agree to that, once you, it's like making a deal with the devil. Once you agree to that, you're toast.
Yeah. It's like Ronald Reagan's famous
independence. Maintain your independence, even if it costs you your life.
All right. Yeah. It's like Ronald Reagan's 9 famous words, the 9 scariest words in the English language. I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. I'll be back tomorrow with Jennifer for Real News Live, and then Whiskey and Wisdom with the original Mark Z at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Everybody have a great Tuesday night. I don't know about next week. I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to be in New York. If we can pull it off, we will. And then I'm going to be in Orlando maybe the next Tuesday. I don't know. It's going to be crazy, but everybody stay on top of things. And yeah, let's get out there and continue to apply pressure to government types that are on social media. Everything they post, ask them, where's the information about the Charlie Kirk case? Let's keep pushing it. It's all we can do is use our voices to try to shout down their bullshit. For TV's Blake Wally, for the New American Media's Brian Engelman, for Steve Doran, the Trail Boss, and for our missing absent friend tonight, Dr. Brooks Agnew, who hopefully will be ready in a week or two. Good night. Take care of yourself. Buy guns. Buy ammo. Personal food. Bye-bye.